This is Late Night Health. This is the radio show that cares about the most important part of your life, your health. During the next hour, the insane Daryl Wayne and I are going to take a look at some things that touch each and every one of us. During the latter part of our show, we're going to talk about a new snack that will be available soon in the United States. It's a freeze-dried series of fruits, all organic, all non-GMO, and we will be talking with Gina from Australia in about a half hour from now. Right now, we go to Washington, D.C., and we're going to spend some time with one of my favorite people. I say that every time she's on the air. She wouldn't, I don't think she would know me if she walked into the room, but, you know, I really like talking to her. Her name is Karen Howard. I am actually introducing her differently than the last, 10 years or so?
Sounds
Karen?
about right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So she is the author of Upset is Optional, and she's also the executive director of the Organic and Natural Health Association. Karen, welcome back to Late Night Health, and congratulations.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to be here.
What motivated you to write a book?
Well, it was a labor of love. I was actually on the floor of Supply Side West when my mentor, Bob Duggan, I got notice that he had died. And it took me, he taught me all these practices. He really was very instrumental in who I am today. And it took me 3 years to sit down and write the book. It took me 3 months to write it. And it took me another 3 years to get it published. So it's been a process.
I think I was with you at Supply Side when you heard that.
Yeah, it's very devastating news. And I made a commitment then that it was my obligation to make sure that other generations and other groups of people knew about these practices.
As you know, life is full of ups and it's full of downs, right? There's very little right there in the middle. You know, you get a call from the IRS, you owe $1 million. You have you go to the doctor and he says you've got an incurable disease. You've got your kids say, I'm moving away, I'm moving to Singapore. I mean, whatever it might be, there are frustrations in life. Is upset allowed or is it not allowed?
Well, it's your choice for absolute certainty. I mean, there is enormous suffering in the world. So let's start with that. There will always be suffering, unfortunately. And that's just part of life. But being able to choose whether you're upset or not is a great way to eliminate unnecessary suffering. And that's where the premise of this book begins. Are you going to be upset? Absolutely. Can you reset yourself and your body to walk away from that, rethink it? With practice and time, it becomes a part of the way you live your life. Instead of being upset all the time, you can choose not to be.
So, in your personal life, something happens, you don't get upset anymore?
I'll give you a really recent example. When I was launching the book, it was hard for me because I'm very good at promoting what I do professionally. It's much harder for me to promote myself personally. So it was kind of hard for me to put myself out there for the day of the launch and put it out to all, you know, the people on my LinkedIn, et cetera, et cetera. And I got a call that evening that said the book is not ready.
Oh, I remember that.
You remember that?
Yeah.
And I went, oh, well, upset is optional. Reframed it and said, okay, this gives me more time to promote it over the next week, and walked on and never got upset.
Bestseller on Amazon?
Yes, international and national.
That is terrific. Congratulations on that. Do you think most people walk around in an upset stage?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look at the diseases that we deal with, high blood pressure, ulcers, chronic illnesses in many ways. Even asthma can be affected by your moods. I think that people walk around upset a lot, and I think that there's a lot of information coming at us that can get us upset. I think we have ample opportunity to practice these 10 practices.
Back pain, okay, very common. Almost everybody has suffered some kind of back pain in their lives. It doesn't matter if they're 10 years old or 100 years old. Back pain is very, very common. We probably shouldn't be walking the way we do. And often back pain goes away, but often it doesn't. And with pain of any kind, blood pressure goes up. How do you handle that? I mean, can you learn a technique so that even though you're in pain, you're not upset?
Well, I think, there's one practice in the book that was the hardest one for me, and that's the 5 symptoms that lead to your condition. So I was clueless. I mean, I worked on this for months. I was like, I don't understand. I don't really have anything wrong. And then I would discover that, to your point, I would have this spot in my back that would hurt. And I would go to the chiropractor and he would fix it and then I'd be fine. And then I realized that was my symptom, that I was upset. And it took me a great deal of observation and time to realize what was happening in my body that was actually starting. My tell sign is when I get a knot in the pit of my stomach. And that knot would climb up my arm, make my hand numb, end up in my shoulder, and then I'd be back at the chiropractor. And the day I realized it, I was like, awareness. But it was the hardest practice for me to learn. So I always recommend it's obviously in the book, and there are easier ways to start. There are other things that you can do to sort of get in your body and understand that your body knows before your brain does what's happening. And it will respond accordingly.
I know that blood pressure, you mentioned that with pain, for example, your blood pressure can go up. But if you can alleviate that pain or reduce that pain, your blood pressure goes down. There's Absolutely. Some kind of mind-body connection, isn't there? It is kind of foolish for us to think that our body operates separate from our mind. And like I said, your body's really smart. So if you just take the example of the words we use, words are drugs. Like, you're walking down the hall, you run into your boss, and that boss looks at you and says, I need to see you immediately. What does your body do? Tenses up.
Tenses up. All of a sudden your shoulders are up in your ears, and you're like, your heart's pounding. So this can happen off and on all day long. My question is can you catch it? And can you use words that, one, can you catch those words so you are actually aware of what's happening? And two, can you use words that are good drugs that make people feel better, or can you be an observer and can you be a listener instead of taking it into your body?
Going back to writing a book, okay, you are such a people person and a people connector. You recently connected me with, I'll mention his name, Ivan Wasserman and Rend, for a client that I have. And they're attorneys in the nutraceutical industry. And you're such a people person. Writing is so by myself, right?
It's very therapeutic. Very therapeutic. I disciplined myself and I wrote at the same time every day. And I wrote for a certain amount of time. A friend of ours gave me that advice.
And my co-author. Was it
Servet.
Servet Hassan. All right. Our guest is Karen Howard, author of Upset is Optional. And I'm on a high stress level right now of upset. Maybe she will, in our break, bring me down. She's also the executive director of the Organic and Natural Health Association and a good friend of Late Night Health. She's been on many, many times. Visit Amazon.com, buy the book. Okay, Upset is Optional. I'm Mark Allen, along with the insane Daryl Wayne, who is never upset in the 10-plus years that I've known him. He's only blown up at me once or twice. Anyway, we'll be back in just a couple moments as Late Night Health continues. Late Night Health is proud of our partnership with the EBC, the Evolutionary Business Council. Check them out at ebcouncil.com.
You're listening to Late Night Health with Mark Allen. The show continues in a moment.
Recently, I met Jacqueline from Bright here in Los Angeles. She gave me a hearing exam and then showed me how to hear again with the new Signia Pure Series hearing aids, and she can give you your life back too. I hear birds chirping, birds cooing, and even my wife. They easily connect to my smartphone. The Signia hearing aids are amazing, and with the charge and go, I don't have to fiddle with batteries and hear all day long. Not hearing is frustrating for you and your family. I know you don't have a problem, but trust me, call Bright Here now for a free hearing exam, a $125 value, yours free, just for making an appointment now. There are offices throughout the Los Angeles area. Call Bright Here now at 323-424-7100. That's 323-424-7100 for a free hearing exam. There's no obligation. Call now, 323-424-7100, or visit them on the web at brighthere.com.
If you're listening to Late Night Health right now, you're part of the growing target of baby boomers we're serving. Hi, I'm Daryl Wayne, producer of Late Night Health, inviting you to join the Late Night Health family. If you have any business targeting the growing boomer market, Late Night Health is the ideal advertising vehicle for you. From vitamins to insurance, alternative health to Western-style medicine, Late Night Health caters to the growing population of those over 40 years old. This vibrant demographic has expendable income to fight aging, purchase travel, take care of aging parents, or just have fun. Find out about the advertising opportunities with Late Night Health. Call us at 805-391-0308. That's 805-391-0308, or email us at info@latenighthealth.com. That's info@latenighthealth.com. Join Late Night Health as we empower people to take charge of their own health care. Call now at 805-391-0308. That's 805-391-0308. Sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Words are a critical aspect of success. How you get your point across is a crucial part of what makes anything sell. So do it right and hire a writer. Whether it's articles, blog posts, technical writings, website content, product descriptions, or ghostwriting anything from a novel to a nonfiction book about your navel, contact Servet Hassan. If you want it to sell, write it right. Email Servet at servet@servethassan.com.
It's time to tackle a tough topic, one that affects us all. We're talking about sexism in the workplace. The award-winning Identifying the Elephant in the Room series is back and ready to tackle some complicated communications issues again. This spring, we're focusing on critical communication strategies in the face of sexism. Join us as we hear from professionals in the natural products industry who have valuable career lessons to share and real-world experience to discuss from all sides of the elephant. It's time to have an honest and open conversation about the impact of sexism in the workplace and how we can make it better for everyone. Identifying the Elephant in the Room series starts March 16th. Register today at inicibox.vfairs.com. That's INICIBOX.VFAIRS.com and join the conversation to be part of the solution. Late Night Health continues. I'm Mark Allen along with the insane Daryl Wayne. I made a comment, Daryl, that you don't get upset often. Do you
Maybe I do. I just don't show it very actively sometimes.
Is that a good thing to do, Karen?
It depends. I mean, you can carry around upset in your body and not release it, and you'll end up with an ulcer. I've had that happen to me personally. Or you can just not be upset and accept things as they are and move on. Accept what you can not change. These are not new concepts, Mark. I mean, they're just really practical ways of being in the world that can make your life easier and make the people around you feel better.
I think there's some things that are reasonable to get upset about, and some things that you just have to accept it because you can't change it. I rely on the sobriety prayer to keep my life together. So know the things I can't change and accept it.
And almost 40 years, close to.
Is this an odd year and even year? Yeah, it's 40 years in August.
40 years.
Yeah.
In August. Wow.
Congratulations on that. And I mean, I think it's, people are I can get upset. But I can train myself to go, I'm going to reset myself and go back.
So it's like resetting a computer?
It's faster.
You need a new computer, Karen. So, I mean, peace, love, but at the same time, some people have the ability to just, they push a button on people, and your upset goes way up. A husband, wife, a kid to a parent.
It's a choice. It's always a choice. Can you sit back and be an observer and not react? That's your first practice. Can you just not react? Can you remove yourself from the situation? Sometimes in my life, I had a situation where the advice from my mentor was, you need to go put yourself in a closet, metaphorically speaking, because you're so upset you cannot make good choices right now. And it was extremely true. And I got really comfortable in that closet. And then he said to me, it is time for you to come out of the closet and make some decisions. And I did. And that was what really, that way of being in that time was what enabled me to effectively leave my marriage with no upset.
Well, divorce is usually very upsetting.
Correct.
So you had an okay divorce? I mean...
No, it was incredibly amenable. It was negotiated. There were no lawyers. The kids were in college, but there was no drama. I've gone through a different kind of scenario in my first marriage. I certainly didn't live that with my parents' marriage. There was huge drama. And I made a commitment that I was going to live these practices and do it the way that it needed to be done. And Bob's last comment to me was, you need to find a new way of being. And I did. I took that to heart, and I moved through that with agreement. And to this day, we're very cordial. His family comes to town. He's here. He was just over here for my daughter's 30th birthday a week ago. So it worked. It actually works.
Tell us about your mentor.
What a great guy. He was a priest in the Vatican. And long story short, left and became very compelled towards the Far Eastern teachings, and was the founder of the first accredited acupuncture school in the United States, here in Maryland. So he began his journey teaching through acupuncture, and then started a program called Applied Healing Arts, How to Be a Healing Presence Through Words and Actions. And I met him shortly after I started running the Association of Naturopathic Physicians, and fell deeply in love. He is, he's a huge, huge component of my life. So I was in school in the master's program, and when he ended up leaving the school, he's boiled all of this amazing philosophical teaching down into these 10 very simple practices, and asked us to come learn them and go teach them to people.
And this is one of the ways you're teaching.
Yes, the book is one of the ways I'm teaching.
All right, you're going to have to teach me because I get upset a lot. Our guest is Karen Howard. She's got a book. It's called Upset is Optional. I'm halfway through, and it's very easy to read. I need to read it in the next couple of days and finish it. But go to Amazon, because I think this is something that can help people, and that's really the reason for your doing this, is it not?
Oh, absolutely. So I've pledged in my life, which is another practice, which is serve the 7 generations. So I only do work that honors the 3 generations that have been before me, and serves the 3 generations that are coming that I may never know in this one generation where I exist. And this book is part of that commitment to live 7 generations.
Why? I mean, why is this commitment? This is when you write a book, and I don't know if people know this or not, unless you're Shotgun Kelly, whose book is coming out this week. You don't make money on books. In fact, it becomes a big black hole that you pour more and more money into. Have you found that?
Yes, I have. Yes.
Right? Yeah. It's a commitment. Is it a commitment to yourself as well as to the universe, others?
Absolutely. It's a commitment to who I am in the world. I'll give you an example. Like, I was the CEO of a water bottling company for a year. And I did it because I loved the people that I was going to work with, and I thought we were going to create these really awesome, products with great ingredients. And it just turned out to be bottled water. And I was at a year, I went, I'm out. And I have quit every job that has been transactional like that. But in the past, I wasn't really sure why I did it. Now I'm very clear. And I know pretty quickly if I'm in a job that isn't, serving those 7 generations. So this is the book. This is Organic and Natural Health. This is why I do O&N, because it makes a difference. And that's why I'm here. It's just who I am.
Is that your purpose?
I believe so. I mean, I grew up in a family where my dad was a used car dealer and one of the first Datsun dealers in the Midwest. And I was sort of an anomaly in the family. I didn't care about cars, didn't care about making money. I always wanted to be the first, female Speaker of the House of Representatives until I learned I'd have to live in my hometown the rest of my life. And then I kind of put that on the shelf. But I've always been that person. I worked with handicapped kids. I have a degree in special education.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was going to be a teacher until it went to the Hill, and I was like, oh, I don't think so. I'm going to go be a lawyer and an advocate for those kids.
And we should mention that that Karen is a former Congressional committee staff member. Okay, she was really on the Hill, helping to make the country even better.
It was back in the day when Congress worked.
Yes. Now that's a topic for another day. As we wrap up, what would you suggest to people that they do to make their lives better? Because I know people get upset. I mean, here in California, you got to be careful on the freeway because somebody's going to get upset because you blocked them off, and they start shooting or something. We have 20 seconds. Number 1.
Yeah, road rage is a great thing that you need to get rid of. So I recommend you go to upsetisoptional.com and read more about the book. And certainly you can order it off of Amazon. These are great practical ways to make your life more peaceful.
And you can go to upsetisoptional.com. We'll have Karen back in a couple of about a month and a half as we talk about organic and natural health and what they're doing. Karen, thank you very much. Hold on. I'm Mark Allen along with the insane Daryl Wayne. Don't go away. More coming up, and be sure to visit us at latenighthealth.com. More coming up.